This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of the MLB 2021 season, Week 6 observations. So the first thing is the Royals have a very good hitting third baseman named Hunter Dozier, but they seem to want to play him in the outfield so that they can play Hanser Alberto, a utility player who bounces from team to team and can play anywhere. You don't want to go and make him play a different position. That's where it's just like, what are you doing? And then they go out and get Carlos Santana, a slugger, even though they have two first basemen and a DH in O'Hearn and Rick Broom and Jorge Soler. So you get him to bat in the middle of the lineup. But then they start to bat him second sometimes during the year, and it's like, he is there to be the middle of the order hitter. He's an RBI machine. He's not a number 2 hitter. Then they got guys like Zuber and Bubik pitching out of the bullpen, and they don't have enough starting pitching to go around. It's just Danny Duffy, Brad Keller, and Mike Minor. Nothing's really set in that rotation. So that's why I'm like, and Brady Singer, but nothing's set. So one of those guys, along with Irvin Santana, I don't know why I just don't start them. Diamondbacks, they got this nice catcher named Carson Kelly. And they think he's a good enough two-way player, but he is not a number 2 hitter or a leadoff hitter. He's good enough offensively that as a catcher that you're like, good, he can hit, but bat him at the bottom of the lineup. Then they got Pavin Smith, who was only playing the outfield because there are times where Cole Calhoun's been hurt, Tim LaCastro's been hurt, and when they're out, Ketel Marte in center field. So you're like, okay, I'll play Pavin Smith in right field because he's the first baseman. That's totally fine. But now that you have Nick Heath and Tim LaCastro's back off the disabled list, and you call up Dalton Varsho, who has enough experience in the outfield because he can't play catcher, why are you playing him in center field? Right field's fine. But then you're leading him off, and he's a slugging first baseman, so you should not be batting in the leadoff spot. Again, they got enough outfielders now that Rojas should be just playing the infield, and Van Meter's a super utility guy, but he's mostly like a corner guy. He's not like, I want to try him in the middle infield. And Osvaldo Escobar is not a cleanup hitter. You got plenty of guys who can do that. The Mets, Jeff McNeil's not a leadoff hitter. I know with Brandon Nimmo out, but maybe try when you start Peraza or Jonathan Villar, Little League and stolen bases multiple times, or even Kevin Pillar. Bat one of those guys leadoff spot, because batting the likes of Villar and Pillar and Villar, confusing, and Peraza, and batting them 5th, 6th, or 7th is stupid, especially when James McCann is batting last. He's proven he's been a much better major league hitter than both those guys combined. And then they use an opener, despite the fact that I know DeGrom is now hurt, but you got Stroman, and you have Tejon Walker, and you got Peterson, and you also got yourself Yamamoto, and you got yourself Joey Lucchesi. I know you're still missing Syndergaard and Carrasco, but they have enough starting pitchers that they could use. They don't have to use an opener. Now, the Orioles, there's no reason for DJ Stewart to play right field when you have Austin Hayes, who's a center fielder, who's a really good defensive player, because we all know DJ Stewart is not a great defensive outfielder. He should be playing DH at first base. And Rio Ruiz, I know they're playing second base because they don't really have a second baseman, but he can't fill this position well enough. And Freddie Galvis is been considered to be a bad hitter at this point in his career. That's why he's on Baltimore. I don't want to see him batting 5th, okay? And then you're wasting time with Pedro Severino because the less time Francisco gets, then you're never going to know if he could be a serviceable major league catcher because their number 1 prospect is a catcher who's going to come up at some point. So, and then you're batting in the middle of the lineup. Makes no sense. The Red Sox, man. Both Hunter Renfroe and Bobby Delvac, they got them to be middle of the order hitters. But when you have JD Martinez and you have Alexander Bogaerts and you got Rafael Devers, Hunter Renfroe should be batting 6th and Bobby Delvac should be batting 7th. Then you bat Vasquez and Franchi Cordero because you're not batting him leadoff. That should be the lineup because I've seen games where Bobby Delvac hits huge home runs or Renfroe drives in runs and I'm like, batting them 8th or 9th is a waste of time. And then I know with the injury to Kiki Hernandez, you've been batting Marwin Gonzalez in the leadoff spot. That's kind of fine. Utility player. You put him wherever. Michael Chavis, though, does have any speed. He strikes out a lot. He's not a leadoff hitter. That's where I'm like, why isn't Cordero batting leadoff? But that's another story. Cubs, though. You get Jock Peterson back. That's good. But Ian Happ goes down. Well, guess what? You still have Jake Marisnick, and you still have Ildemol Vargas, utility player. 3 of those guys, including Jock Peterson, and the 4th guy, Hayward, have more career innings in center field, and they're either super utility players or the natural-born center fielders or outfielders. I do not want to see Bryant playing center field ever again. If you play him in left field one day, whoop-de-doo. But not center field when I'm listing you all these other options. And then he's not a number 2 hitter, nor is Wilson Contreras. And Danny Duffy's not Matt Duffy, is not a number 3 hitter. And at the same time, there's no reason for him to be playing left field if you're already playing Chris Bryant in the outfield. And then you also have the fact that I see Tony Walters, their backup catcher, he's playing second base in a game and left field. He's your backup catcher. I think when you have guys like Ildemar Vargas, Duffy, and Eric Sogard, you got enough guys you could throw wherever the heck you want. It just makes no sense. And again, there's no need for Matt Duffy also to lead off either. And then the Pirates, Reynolds should not be playing center field. If you got this Tom guy from the A's, he just picked up Ben Gamble, who stupidly played first base in a game. It's like, got enough center fielders, and you've gone through them, that he should be playing there, that Reynolds should be in left field. Eric Gonzalez, that number, another 3 or 5 hitter. Wilmer Defoe, super utility guy, should not even play in the outfield. And Phillip Evans is playing right field, which is a stretch from him playing left field. And at the same time, I like that he played first base, but not batting cleanup. That's where he belongs. Okay, and I don't want to see Tom batting third because he's a backup outfielder. And then Ben Gamble, as I mentioned, is a center fielder. Don't ever play him at first base. And Wilmer Defoe, he's super utility man, is now number 6 hitter. Nor Jacob Stallings, a cleanup hitter. They're all over the place. The Yankees, TJ LeMahieu, again, still leading off, not his position in the lineup. Nor should be playing third base or first base to accommodate backups. Or Andujar one day played first base. Guess what? Andujar played first base one day. DJ played third base. Guess what happened? There was errors all over the place. And we got to say this. Judge is no longer batting second, but Stanton's batting second. Then you have Brett Gardner batting fifth or Giovanni Urshela batting fourth, and those not where they belong in the lineup. Play Andujar at third base. Play DJ LeMahieu at second base, and now you play somebody else at first base. But Luke Voigt is back, so it's a good thing. Indian, Nick Senzel's been batting leadoff and playing second base. Good. He's an infielder by trade. He should be batting in the top of the lineup. But now they're like, we'll put him in center field. And then they stopped the Suarez experiment, so he's playing third base. Nick Castellanos has moved down to 3 spot. I'm like, good. But why is Tyler Naquin batting ahead of Suarez? Suarez is one of the middle order hitters. Winker is no longer batting leadoff because Senzel's there, but he's really number 2 hitter? Not really. And again, Kyle Farmer's playing a lot of shortstop, and he's not a shortstop. Why don't you try Senzel, India, or actually like somebody else you could have signed? It's just silly. Indians, Cesar Hernandez not a leadoff hitter, nor would I ever want Jake Bauers batting second. That's pretty stupid. And Rosario playing center field, I think, is a weird experiment, but it's whatever. And then the Twins, Garlick is not a leadoff hitter nor a right fielder. If you want to play him in left field because you're not sure between Killarov and Rooker who's a left fielder, who's going to be starting left field, that's fine. Donaldson, not a number 2 hitter. Max Kepler, not a leadoff hitter. He's a power hitting guy. Polanco, if you bat him second, I won't get upset, but third and fourth is kind of too much when you have Donaldson, Cruz, and Sano on your team, and you also have, Kepler. Arias should not be playing left field. And Mitch Garver, again, not a middle order here. He's like towards the bottom because he's a pretty good offensive catcher. And Kepler, I know you have an injury right now to Byron Buxton, but if you have yourself Jake Cave and Rooker and Killarov, and you got all these natural-born outfielders on your team, kind of let him play where he is. Don't move him because of an injury. Tiger, I've seen both Norris and Fulton pitch out of the bullpen, and their rotation is not that amazing. Casey Mize is still learning, and at the same time, Boyd is okay, and they have a veteran or two, but it's just, the best situation is maybe give innings out of Fulmer when your rotation's not that great. And then Robbie Grossman leading off, but he's not a leadoff hitter. The whole Nico Goodrum plays shortstop, so Willie Castro plays second base, and Jonathan Scope plays first base. No, you play Castro, who's a shortstop at his position Scope, and you play Goodrum wherever you need. Same thing with Harold Castro. You play him wherever you need, but center field is stretch. Jacoby Jones, he's no longer batting ninth, but 7th is not really where I think he should be. And then the Brewers, Alondra Kane and Daniel Vogelbach, number 2 hitters. If you have the good number 2 hitter in either Urias or Colton Wong, Tyrone Taylor should not be batting third, and with the injury still to Kristen Yelich, Billy McKinney should get every opportunity to play left field as possible because he bounces from team to team, and he actually deserves a chance to figure out where he actually belongs. That's where I'm just like, come on. And then Jordan Zimmerman is not a relief pitcher, and they've had injuries to the rotation, so you might as well start him. The Marlins, Jesus Aguilar, power hitter, not number 2 hitter. Izan Diaz, not a number 5 hitter. They have been getting Rojas leadoff, which is fine. It's better than what they've been doing. And Cooper's not a number 2 hitter, nor is he an outfielder. You give Aguilar a day off to play Cooper. You don't have to play him at the same exact time. And Duvall's not a center fielder. You have plenty of center fielders that just can't hit. Phillies, Andrew McCutchen, Rhys Hoskins still batting 1 and 2 most days, which is stupid. And Dubo Herrera batting 6th through 7th. That's not really belongs. He's more of a leadoff hitter. They've kind of changed it up a bit. Regine Segura's batting 2nd more recently, and that's good. And Hoskins batting either 4th or 7th. So you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to get better. And Matt Moore's a longer in the rotation. I don't know what's the point of him being a reliever. He's not going to do that much there. The Braves, Ronald Acuna, Freddie Freeman, they're not number one or number 2 hitters, and Albies not a number 4 hitter. Acuna, I know you've had injuries in center field, but keep him in right field. And you got, Irvin and Almonte and Andrianza. You got all these guys under contract, and now I know Pache's injured, but it's like there's no need for Acuna in center or Andrianza, utility player, when you have, Heredia and Irvin and Almonte that can play the outfield. And no need for Austin Riley also play right field. Man, left field's okay, but right field is stretched. Now the Mariners. J.P. Crawford is not number 6 or number 5 hitter. That's kind of not where he belongs. They had batting him leadoff just most recently. Keep him, that's where he was last year. Dylan Moore and Torrens, I don't want to see him 4 through 6. I don't want to see the White, White playing first, 9th or 8th, because if he's not going to bat high in the lineup, Evan White, then you might as well play Marmelos, who's a much better power hitter than him, at first base and bat him higher. Kyle Lewis is batting 2nd, or he's batting 3rd or 4th. I feel like the best spot for him would be 5 or 6. And then Ty France is no longer batting 2nd. Phew, he's batting 4th. But now Mitch Haniger is batting 2nd because, Mitch Haniger is batting 2nd because you have J.P. Crawford leading off, which is better, but he still should be number 3 hitter. And then if you have, you called up Kalenic guy, you got to have Sam Haggerty no longer be playing the outfield as a second baseman. He should get as many opportunities at second base on days Ty France doesn't play second base. And then again, I said it with Marvelo, right field's a stretch. It's one thing when you're playing him in left field, but that's just way too much. Now the Rangers, Aroldis Garcia. There's no point of batting 4th or 5th if you got Joey Gallo, David Dahl, and now Chris Davis is healthy. Got plenty of guys there. Okay, because he never had home runs before the season started. Then Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, batting 7th is good, not leading off. Nick Solak, I like that he was batting 2nd for a while, but now they move him to 5th. I'm like, what are you doing? Kobe Allard and Ian Kennedy both pitch out of bullpen when the Rangers don't have enough starting pitching. And David Dahl, I knew it. I called it. He's going to play center field. If Willie Calhoun or Chris Davis is in left and Joey Gallo's in right, I just knew it. Not where he belongs. Altuve and Brantley batting 1 and 2. That's not where they belong in the lineup. Altuve 2nd, Brantley 3rd, which he did once. Blue Jay. Springer has not been healthy, played like 1 game, so Simeon's been leading off. And I'm like, that's not where he belongs. And then you're batting Biggio 6, and I'm like, he's more of a top-of-the-order hitter. And then I don't think Teoscar Davis is a cleanup hitter. You got a few of those guys like Guerrero and Tellez. Grichuk's not a center fielder. They got enough guys who can do that. Rocky. Trevor Story. Why was he batting 2nd? Why is he batting 2nd when he's been batting 3rd or 4th most of the year? Charlie Blackmon is probably suited to bat 3rd because he makes a lot of contact, or 5 or 6. Garrett Hampson should be playing second base because they got enough outfielders in Tapia, Daza, and Hiller. There should no be a reason, because they don't really have an answer second base if McMahon is playing out of position. And then Connor Joe, who's in the long line of Adams and C.J. Crow, and another guy who's a first baseman really batting 2nd. That's not where he belongs. I do like the Blackmon Story 3-4. That makes sense. Now the Dodgers, they're still batting Betts and Seager 1 and 2, and then have days like Will Smith batting 4th or 5th, and Chris Taylor batting 5th or 6th, and I'm just like, you got the opportunity to bat Betts Seager in a lineup with Muncy and Turner, where it's like a good 3 through 6. You don't want to. That's perfect. And then Sheldon Neuse is a long list of infielders that are playing in the outfield, and Barnes, the backup catcher, playing second base when they got enough infielders. Angels, Ohtani batting 2nd, and then he batted him leadoff, so they kind of confounded even more. Tyler Ward's a first baseman, but instead of Jared Walsh playing the outfield, he's playing the outfield. And then they used an opener, despite the fact that they have a 6-man rotation, purposely because of Ohtani. Like, what are you doing? And then he played right field this past game. So he played left field like once, and then he played right field after he pitched. They switched it around. They want to take him out as a pitcher, but they're like, let's keep his bat in the lap, so that's cool. Then the Rays. They got Randy Arozarena batting leadoff, Margot batting 2nd, and Brandon Lau batting 3rd. Lau batting 3rd is okay, but he's better 2nd. Margot should be leading off. Persaro batting 5th, that's a backup. Wendell playing shortstop, that's not his position. Lau batting 4th, with Margot batting 3rd, no. And Meadows batting 4th, it's okay. It's better than Lau batting 3rd or 4th or Margot there, but still. A's, Mark Hanna, if they're going to continue to bat him leadoff, even though that's not where he should be, that's fine. But don't play him in center field or right field. That's kind of a stretch. And don't DH Goldo Caliber, center fielder Laureano. That's kind of stupid. DH Canna. And then Sean Murphy's not a cleanup hitter, nor is Laureano number 3 hitter. Mitch Moreland's not a number 2 hitter. And batting Lowry before Chapman is pretty stupid. And Tony Kemp is not a number 7 hitter. Then the Padres. Profar is still playing left field. Whatever. Tatis leading off is pretty stupid. Cronenworth batting 6 is pretty stupid. And if you're not going to play Hosmer, you play Will Myers at first base. And this Marcanio dude is following in the steps of Profar and Mateo, where he's playing in the outfield when he's an infielder, and batting 5th. That's not where he belongs. Pham, not a cleanup hitter. And Nola's a catcher. He's your starting catcher. There's nobody need to play second base. And O'Grady, man, that's a super utility guy. He's not really he's limited how good he is defensively other places. Then the Giants. Austin Slater, not a leadoff hitter, not a center fielder. Got to fix this, man. You got enough center fielders in your roster. And even Dubon, who could play center field. Lamonte Wade, speaking of center fielders, why are you wasting him at first base? I'd rather play Slater at first base. Buster Posey, never should be batting second. And Darren Ruff pitched this past week. That's interesting. The Nationals, Jody Mercer is a backup infielder, but he's not a left fielder. He had enough guys to do that. Harrison has more experience in the outfield. And Juan Soto, he's not a number 2 hitter. Like, you got him the protection in Schwarber and Josh Bell and Starlin Castro and Yan Gomes in the lineup. He does not be batting second. Cardinals lineup is great. Edmund leading off, Dylan Carlson second, and then Goldschmidt and Arenado and Paul DeYoung, Tyler O'Neill, Yadi Molina. That's like great. Okay, and then Bader at the bottom. They're doing it correct. Then the White Sox, they've had Mendon play right field twice this past couple weeks. You can come up with something better than that. And then Jake Lamb batting second. The dude is a all or nothing guy. You bat him at the 6th through 8th in the lineup. And then Adam Eden's not a number 5 hitter. If he's not going to bat leadoff, then you bat him second. If you're not going to bat him 1 or 2, you bat him 9th. That's where I just don't understand where they're putting some of these guys. But thanks for listening to another edition of the 2021 MLB Observations from week number 6. For On the Radar Entertainment Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.